Greetings, family. Welcome to the Sister Shanice News Desk. Absolutely delighted to have you here on board. If you're not already a subscriber, please do hit that subscribe button. And if you don't already have a copy of my book, A Black King of Anglo-Saxon Britain, then please do get a copy. It's available on Amazon.
Had no chance of proving their innocence. Evidence was planted, that was a common practice, and assaulting people was almost a daily occurrence.
I am! But you're not doing anything! I haven't done anything!
So today's news story, family, focuses on policing of the UK's black community, and the history has been stitched up charges, police brutality, racist stereotypical perception of people of African origin in the UK. And I'm asking the question, has anything changed in particular since the 1980s? The UK police force have long had a troubled history when it comes to policing the black community in the UK. During the 1980s, almost every black man, woman, and child had a story to tell about police harassment, police brutality, and the indiscriminate criminalization of our community. If you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could find yourself the victim or the witness to some heavy-handed police conduct towards people of African origin, including women. Many African/black people were forcibly criminalized, which sabotaged their lifetime prospects. And at the same time, this was leading to the promotion of some of these corrupt police officers. The entire black community was stereotyped by the police as criminals. We were guilty until proven innocent, and many innocent Africans were unjustly criminalized. The people's complaints were ignored. There was no recourse to justice. And at court, the judge always sided on the side of the police. At that time, the police were considered above line in the court. But 40 years later, we have the police admitting some of their dirty deeds, confirming what the UK's black community was complaining about. Take a listen to this confession of a culture of racism in the police force, their attitude towards black people, and abuse of police powers.
I didn't join the police as a racist, but whilst I was in the police, I became one. We just went out and made a beeline for whosoever we wanted to arrest. So you'd say you'd seen them try 2 or 3 car door handles. You'd seen them sizing someone up at a bus stop, and you'd see them put their hand towards a lady's handbag. People had no chance of proving their innocence. Evidence was planted, that was a common practice, and assaulting people was...
They used to raid dances. I was in one particular dance where they battered down the door, beat up women, beat up men. There was countless police vans outside on Elm Park that night, and I was one of those in one of the police vans taken back to Brixton police station. My face pressed down to the floor. There was a boot upon my neck, upon my back, and then we were dragged out to the police cells. Sitting in that cell and hearing the screams of the older guys along the cell corridor, it was just frightening. So that's when I realised that these stories weren't extravagances. It was actually happening.
I'm in the underground and I'm in Oxford Circus, changing tubes to come to Brixton. And that's when I first noticed these couple of men. They grabbed me. Excuse me, I'm arresting you for suspicion of pickpocketing from persons unknown. And I'm thinking, me no pickpocket, me a rasta.
Almost every young black man in Brixton had a story to tell about police harassment or brutality.
I remember
getting on a bus one time from Brixton going to Clapham, and they came on the bus and said I was nicking a purse, took me off the bus, couldn't find nothing on me, they just gave me a good kicking and sent me away. You know, what could you do? There's like 5, 6 police and just you as a little black kid. They didn't arrest no one, they just beat us up and left us there.
We were the occupying army, if you like, and thinking of the people of Brixton as the enemy, that there wasn't a good person amongst them, that they were all criminals, that blackness equated with criminality.
We had a feeling that we just weren't wanted in this country, weren't wanted, that we were despised.
In January 1981, bitterness intensified when 13 black youngsters were burnt to death at a party in New Cross in southeast London. 3 months later, the failure to charge anyone for what the black community was convinced was a racist attack seemed a betrayal by the police.
We felt the police just didn't care. There was tensions already between us growing at the time, and that just pushed us further apart more than ever.
So the question I'd like to ask, family, is 14 years on, there's been a succession of reports that have pointed to the disparities in the treatment of black people in comparison to their white counterparts. Most recently, in May 2022, the NPCC, that's the National Police Chief Council, released their police race action plan that aims to address the significantly lower levels of trust and confidence among some black people and the race disparities affecting us that policing cannot currently fully explain other than race. Their own reports point to police powers such as stop and search and the use of force being disproportionately applied to black people. Latest national data shows that black people are almost 9 times more likely to be stopped and searched than white people. And the rate at which force is used was 5 times higher for people they perceive to be black. So my question is, 40 years on, has anything changed? Take a watch of this video, then you decide, family. It's an encounter that happened just this strong in Croydon, here in the UK. Warning, because it does contain some distressing scenes.
What the hell?
Hold on. Why are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Let me just stay in your car. What is going on? Boss, why are they arresting her? Is that her son? Yes! What the fuck? Can you tell me what she's done, please? No! Why not? It's my sister. It's my sister. What's she done?
I just scanned it or not? Right. Please scan your, all we need to do is scan your car. The man is actually hurting me.
Over a fucking bus pass.
I am. This is what you're not doing. I haven't done anything. Can you get him off me, please?
Why are you handling her like that? She's a fucking woman. She's a woman. She's a woman. Oh, Becca, go over there. Don't hold her like that. Look how they're treating her. A fucking woman. Disgrace. Fucking disgrace. No.
So do you know what's going on?
I know that
You're getting half the story.
my sister is being manipulated and manhandled by two men. That's what I can see. No need for that.
When someone's believed to have committed an offence, suspicion of offence.
What offence is that?
Fair evasion.
Huh?
Because she hasn't supplied her ticket.
Fair evasion on a bus. That's what this is over. Really? Wow.
What do you expect me to do with that?
Wow. Wow.
Do you pay your fare?
And you got nothing better to do with your time.
Do you pay your fare? I've heard that numerous times. It gets old, sir. Do you pay your fare when you get on a bus or a train?
I don't get a bus.
You don't get a bus. Okay.
Yeah. Her son. Look at her son. Look at her son. Wankers. Fucking wankers. What a joke. Sister, I've got it all on film. I've got it all on film. Fucking wankers. Fucking wankers.
That was very distressing to watch. Very distressing scenes indeed. And I think, first of all, I just want to rise up the young man who was video recording and asking the questions. I think he was, you know, just sounding out what most of us were feeling as we were watching that video. Sadly, in the UK, these sorts of incidences are not isolated cases. They're all still too common. You know, was this bullish force over a suspected bus fare evasion really necessary? You know, the matter seems to have been resolved in the end because they released her, checked her pass. It was obviously okay. Why was there the need for such excessive manhandling of this innocent woman? And to traumatize her child in the process as well, and to traumatize the public, you know, that was watching the incident. You know, it's total insensitivity, it appears. Was that behavior really necessary? Two men manhandling that woman in the way that they were, you know, as the person reporting pointed out to them, and, you know, their refusal, you know, to even try and cooperate with the public and ease off, you know, when they saw the distress that was being caused. It really begs the question, in 40 years of policing and the mountains of reports that have been written about the policing of the Black community in the UK, what have they learned? What have they learned? Let me hear your views in the chat. Sister Shanice, out of here for now.